guys, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time coming to my channel, a very big welcome to you. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave your comments. So today I'll be talking about Nnamdi Kanu and pretty much exploring his tumultuous relationship with the Nigerian government. Without further ado, let's just jump into the story. So for you to truly understand this beef between Nnamdi Kanu and the Nigerian government, I pretty much have to give you a brief history lesson. So it all started in 1940 when a man called Lord Frederick Lugard decided to amalgamate Nigeria. So amalgamation is bringing the northern protectorate and the southern protectorate and making them one big family. A lot of scholars believe that the reason for this amalgamation by Lord Lugard was to effectively implement the indirect rule. But for those of you who don't know what the indirect rule is, it's pretty much a system of government where the governed people are allowed to retain certain legal, administrative, and other powers. So let's fast forward to 1960 when Nigeria gained independence. We were pretty much divided into three political regions: the northern region, the eastern region, and the western region. Now, as at then, we were practicing a parliamentary system of government. A parliamentary system of government is a system of government where, the power to make and execute laws is vested in the parliament. So at the federal level, there was Tafawa Balewa as the prime minister, Nnamdi Kanu as president. At the regional level, there was Michael Opara as the Eastern Premier, Sir Ahmadu Bello as the Northern Premier, and Femi Awolowo as the Premier of the West. Before we proceed, I think it's very important for me to sort of explain the dynamics between the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. So we have the Igbos in the east, we have the Yorubas in the west, and we have Hausa Fulani's in the north. Now, don't forget I said in the beginning that one man woke up one day and decided to consolidate the northern and the southern protectorates. Now, from the surface of things, these people have absolutely no business with each other because they are so different. The best way I can explain it is as there are three friends. When you have like two friends who don't really like each other, they constantly like side-eye each other. That's the best way to explain the relationship between the houses and the Igbo. For some reason, these people have tension. Even before everything went down, there was just this thing between them that I don't know. Nobody has been able to explain it to me. I've also tried to find out like the cause of this beef. I can't really find anything, will I say, substantial, because I've heard accusations of the houses saying that the Igbos are very ambitious. The Igbos have claimed that the houses are very, will I say, power hungry. My humble opinion, I would peg this lack of trust on the disparity rooted in religious, cultural, and political differences. Regardless of these differences, the country was actually working. After a period of time, I would say that a lot of people were unhappy with the ruling elites because they felt like, oh, you guys you're just living your best lives, and then you have absolutely no regard for the masses. So there was a coup. This coup is also known as the coup of 5 majors. It was spearheaded by Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogo. I hope I pronounced that name properly. Even though this coup wasn't successful, it ended up claiming the lives of the Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa, the Premier of the West, Samuel Akintola, and the Premier of the North, Ahmadu Bello. Now, a lot of people have called this coup the Igbo coup. The reason for this is because 4 out of the majors that plotted this coup were Igbos. The president then, Nnamdi Kanu, I don't want to use the word suspiciously, I think I would use the word coincidentally, was vacationing outside the country. The Eastern Premier then, Michael Opara, for some reason too, was not assassinated. Also, the faction in the army that squashed the coup was led by Agui Rossi, another Igbo man who eventually became the military head of state. So a lot of people saw it as a ploy by the Igbos to seize power. But don't forget that I mentioned in the beginning that there was already like some sort of tension between the Igbos and the Hausas. So as expected, there was a counter coup, and this coup was actually successful. Agui Rossi was killed, and Yakubu Gowon became the military head of state. Now, this northern retaliation did not stop there. Many Southeasterners were killed. A lot of them had to run away from the north, leaving behind their businesses and their homes. In the eastern part of Nigeria, there was a new military governor known as Odumedu Ojukwu. Ojukwu felt like the Yakubu Gowon government wasn't doing a lot to protect the Easterners in the north. So he started, calling for the Southeasterners to come back home. Pretty soon, there were rumors everywhere that the Eastern region wanted to break away from Nigeria. As at this point, the tension, they were no longer pretending, the tension had escalated to almost a point of no return. In order to de-escalate the matter, both sides were called upon to meet. The location was picked for this mediation, and they picked Akure in Ghana. So now it's meeting day. Ojukwu pulls up with like major rockstar energy. So he comes with like his entourage, and I don't really know, but I don't think that, or I'm not sure whether Yakubu Gowon expected him to pull up the way he did. So I would say psychologically, Ojukwu probably won that mediation. He pretty much laid like the demands of the Eastern region on the table. The first thing Ojukwu demanded for was political autonomy. The second one was a greater control of revenue from the Southeast oil deposit. The third demand was a restructuring of the Nigerian army in such a way that power is being divulged to the regions. The reason for this was to get rid of the unfair recruitment quota system, which had been advantageous to the northerners. Now the government agreed to the terms of Ojukwu. This is what is known as the Aguri Accord. Ojukwu leaves the meeting very hopeful. Yakubu Gowon gets to Nigeria and decided to make a major chess move. What did Yakubu Gowon do? So there were already 4 regions as at that time: the Western region, the Eastern region, the Northern region, and the East-Western region. Yakubu Gowon decided to create 12 states.
To some onlookers,
it was a smart move on the part of the government, sort of nip the cessation, will I say, ambition in the bud. Let me just explain something.
There were other ethnic nationalities in the Eastern region.
Besides the Igbos. So by dividing them into the smaller states, what that does now is you're giving these people territorial identity. Don't forget I said in the beginning that some people already, will I say, changed the nomenclature of the coup to the Igbo coup. Now they're looking at it like, this is not my problem, this is an Igbo problem. Now Ojukwu finds out what Yakubu Gowon did, and then he's like, I will show you Igbo Pepe. Ojukwu proceeds to declare the Eastern region as the state of Biafra, and pretty much everything escalated from there. The government declared war. I would say that this was a very, very sad time in the Nigerian history, because a lot of people, like we're talking millions, I think about 2 million people died as a result of this war, and eventually Ojukwu fled the country, and the war was pretty much over. So now enters MASOB. MASOB was founded by Ralph Uwazurike. It is an acronym for the Movement for the Actualization for the Sovereign State of Biafra. So now Nnamdi Kanu was working as a radio presenter for the MASOB in the United Kingdom. I would say he pretty much became the Joe Rogan of the Biafra movement. So yeah, fast forward again, Nnamdi Kanu comes to Nigeria, and then he was arrested at the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. The charges then were centered on treasonable felonies and terrorism. So then Nnamdi Kanu eventually was granted bail on the premises of health reasons. Immediately Nnamdi Kanu gets granted bail, Nnamdi Kanu absconded. He literally just vanished. They could not find him again.
I am so much of an issue, I can show you the hand. And here it is right now. Bye-bye.
I was broke on the 29th of June 2021 that Nnamdi Kanu was rearrested. It's been alleged that he was arrested in Kenya. The reason why I'm using the word alleged is because the Minister of Information of Nigeria, Lai Mohammed, said that yes, it was a collaborative effort with intelligence agencies of other nations, but he didn't explicitly state, the nation where Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. He said they've been training Nnamdi Kanu for like 2 years, and apparently Nnamdi Kanu has been living his best life, entering chartered private jets, and wearing designer clothes, and just being a big boy. Kanu's brother and his legal team have pretty much maintained that Nnamdi Kanu was unlawfully renditioned from Kenya. They were very specific that he was in Kenya, and that she alleged that the Kenyan government failed to comply with the prescribed extradition proceedings. Nnamdi Kanu's brother filed a suit in Kenya, and then the Kenyan government, in their defense, said that they had no business with Nnamdi Kanu's arrest or extradition.
Count charge against Nnamdi Kanu was raised from 7 to 15. The reason for this amendment was to include terrorism offenses that Nnamdi Kanu allegedly committed through broadcasts outside the shores of Nigeria.
I really want to touch on the order given by the court, so that the federal government should pay Nnamdi Kanu 1 billion naira.
In 2017,
Security agents broke into Nnamdi Kanu's house and they did not give any prior notice. During this raid, the families of Nnamdi Kanu were allegedly taken forcefully into custody by the security officers. His lawyer also alleged that family members of Nnamdi Kanu were killed during this illegal raid.
the Nigerian government was ordered to pay Nnamdi Kanu 1 billion naira,
accompanied by a letter of apology.
The separatist leader has pleaded not guilty to the 15-count amended charge on terrorism that was filed by the government. At the Federal High Court in Abuja, his lead counsel argued that the 15-count amended charge was invalid. He reiterated that the prosecution is still using the proof evidence it tendered at the beginning of the trial in 2015, notwithstanding the fact that most of the earlier charges had been dismissed. In 2017, the judge had earlier struck out 6 out of the 11 original counts that the government brought against Nnamdi Kanu.
His lead counsel has also maintained that the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu was very unlawful. He touched on the lack of jurisdiction of the court to sit on the matter. He also talked about, the fresh charge brought by the government criminalizing Nnamdi Kanu's leadership of the ipob had no basis because it was still before the Court of Appeal. The legal team also talked about Nnamdi Kanu and not being allowed to change his clothes.
If you've been following this case closely, you will notice that Nnamdi Kanu has been wearing this particular white Fendi outfit. The legal team alleged that the DSS had refused Nnamdi Kanu to change his clothes, contrary to the order given by the court that he must be allowed to wear a new outfit.
The government claimed that the clothes he wanted to wear had
the lion's head embroidered on them,
so they couldn't let him wear that to court.
The judge also instructed the DSS to return Nnamdi Kanu's glasses.
So another thing that I think is worthy of mention when I think about the case of Nnamdi Kanu is the issue of self-determination. In recent times, we've seen, a cry for self-determination. At least I know about the Biafran movement and the Odudua Nation, led by Sunday Igbo. I think that's the way you pronounce that. So that got me thinking, and it made me look into, what self-determination is all about. So what is self-determination? Self-determination is a core principle of international law that denotes the legal right of people to decide their own destiny in the international order. It has been a bone of contention among scholars as regards, the constitutionality of the right to self-determination. Some scholars have opined that, subject to the provision of Section 2, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, pretty much states that Nigeria is one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign state to be known by the name of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And, by the virtue of Section 6, subsection 6 of the same Constitution, that the provisions in Section 2 are non-justiciable. Justiciable means that it is not capable of being decided by legal principles or by the court of justice. So the other side argued that several international instruments that Nigeria is a signatory to recognize the people's right to self-determination. Some of these instruments, like the African Charter and the United Nations Charter, have been ratified and incorporated in our local laws. Also argue that the rights of the people to self-determination is the same basis upon which Nigeria got independence from the colonial masters. So it's a bit hypocritical for them now to prevent other people or persons from their rights to self-determination. Do I think Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist or not? You just have to wait for the court to rule on the 8th of April if the terrorism charges are valid. It's not me people put in trouble. But I just want to say this before I go to my Nigerian viewers. Get your PVCs ready and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. No, not even like your life actually depends on it. Thank you so much for staying for this long. Hopefully with time I can make my videos shorter. So that'll be all for this video. Thank you. Bye. Mwah.